Hello, welcome to Jumpstart, a community service program for youth sponsored and presented by HandsOn Texarkana, the new volunteer center. The mission of Jumpstart is to introduce local youth, that's you, to the concept of community service and help you get involved in your community. Some of you may be here today voluntarily, while others may be here to satisfy community service requirements for any number of reasons. Whatever the reason, we are glad you're here and hope you enjoy a wonderful and rewarding experience while helping right here in your own community. In case you were wondering, this class will give you 1 credit hour towards community service. What is community service? As you can see, it is doing something in your community which helps others. There is a list of participating organizations on this website. Some of the organizations are nonprofit. That is, they help others, usually for free, and don't make any money by doing so. There are for-profit entities on the list, but they are generally service-oriented and are there to help the community also. Each of these organizations needs volunteer helpers, and that's where you come in. Some of them may need office help, some of them may need help organizing inside their buildings, while others may need help outside on the grounds. Organizations which sponsor children's programs may need older kids to work with the younger ones. This could be anything from crafting to technology assistance or anywhere in between. If you don't feel comfortable working with children, there are many other volunteer opportunities available, from working with senior citizens, animals, clerical work, building or construction help. If you can think of it, there's a need somewhere. Keep thinking, because we will ask you to make a couple of suggestions at the end of the presentation. You can always call HandsOn Texarkana if you need help or ideas, and you can also find ideas on the Jumpstart website. Why should I perform community service? The short answer is that it's the right thing to do. There are many reasons to perform community service. Some of you may be required to in order to satisfy formal requirements, and that's great. The rewards you reap are many. You can put community service hours on college applications and scholarship applications. You can use community service for future job or personal referrals. You get to meet new people and hopefully make new friends. The reasons are many, the benefits are great, and the drawbacks, well, I can't really think of any. It's a win-win situation for everyone. The next question you might be asking yourself is, how can I perform community service? There are so many ways to perform community service because there are literally needs everywhere. There is not a nonprofit organization in this area who does not need volunteer help. It's as simple as looking at the list and calling one. If you want to get creative, you can identify a community problem and come up with a solution, then talk to your sponsor or teacher and get to work. You can recruit your friends to help too. It's always more fun when you have help. You can also call Kathy or Joy at HandsOn Texarkana to find out what the most pressing needs are and get started that way. Again, don't forget the website. You'll find ideas there too. Do you have prior experience? If you have prior community service experience, you can continue that or add to your community service resume by embarking on a new adventure. Just remember to keep track of everything for future needs. If your friends have participated in community service projects, talk to them. They can be a great deal of help, and you just might get them involved again. Before you get started with your project, there are some guidelines and some questions to ask. Also, just a quick reminder here at this point, everyone should have their outline out and be taking notes. The outline is yours to keep, and it will have important information for you and will be helpful when you begin your decision-making process. The facilitator will look over it before completion certificates are handed out. Now, some of the guidelines and questions. First, you should always call the agency for permission. You will need to know where to check in. What kind of work will you be doing? What are their hours of operation? Do they have a dress code? Do they close for lunch? And should you bring your lunch, or will you be allowed to leave the grounds for lunch? You might think of other questions, but these are the important ones and can help you get started. We'll pause here for a short discussion of these questions and allow anyone to offer their input. Another important topic is going to be dress code. Remember, you represent not only your school, but the agency that you are volunteering for. You can compare your school's dress code policies to the dress code policies of the agency you're going to work for. They may be similar. It is important to present a good image, and it's always respectful of your surroundings to be appropriately dressed. You should always have on clean and pressed clothes. Girls should wear tops or blouses that cover their shoulders and do not allow their midsection to show. Guys, you should wear collared shirts if at all possible. Everyone should wear long pants, jeans, khakis, or slacks. Your hair should also be neat and clean. Jewelry should be conservative, and sneakers are preferable, but absolutely no open-toed shoes are permissible for the volunteering process. Now we're going to talk about a couple of dress code don'ts for the guys. Sagging loose or ripped jeans are not allowed because they're a safety hazard. They could get caught in any kind of machinery you might be working around, so you just want to keep yourself as safe as possible on the volunteer site. Gang-related attire, just like it's not allowed at school, it's not allowed at the volunteer site. And if you have piercings or tattoos, piercings should be removed and tattoos should be covered up if at all possible. You just want to present a respectful image at the volunteer site, and sometimes these things might not present that image that you want to portray. Anyway, just a couple of things to think about when you are getting ready to go out to the volunteer site. Some dress code don'ts for the girls include short shorts, undershirts, clothing with offensive logos, bizarre hair color, skinny jeans or pants, see-through fabrics or materials, and shoes with heels. You don't want to be wearing stilettos, spike heels, platform shoes, or boots because these are a safety hazard, and tennis shoes with closed toes or flat shoes with closed toes are going to be your best option when you're on the job site. Again, safety hazard. You don't want loose clothes or piercings, and any type of bandanas, hats, chains, hoodies, those kind of things. Just don't present a respectful image when you're on a job site, and that is what you want to do. You want to present a respectful, clean-cut image when you're on a volunteer site, and again, be respectful of your surroundings. So just some more things to think about when you get ready to go to the volunteer. Okay, now we're going to talk about some common sense items. Be on time. On time is in the parking lot 10 minutes early and ready to start. The agency is doing you a favor by allowing you to come. It's a win-win situation for everyone, and your actions may have resulted in ordered community service, and it can be a positive experience, so just keep a good attitude. Remember that agencies have rules that must be obeyed. If you finish a task, ask for something else to do. It shows real initiative, and the agencies will certainly appreciate that. Phones, iPods, pagers, any kind of electrical device is not allowed in the workplace. You're there to fulfill an obligation, not to be distracted, so please leave those in your car or in your purse. Also, you want to come alone. Boyfriends, girlfriends, babies, other family members, they don't have a place in your workplace, so be sure to leave everyone at home. Also, profanity and bad tempers have no place in the business world. If you're taking prescription medications that affect your concentration, please be sure to inform the agency because you may have to reschedule. That could be a safety issue if you're working around any kind of machinery, and you just don't want to endanger yourself or others. Also, get a good night's rest the night before. You'll perform better and you'll be better able to concentrate on what you're doing. Also, please respect your surroundings by eating and drinking only at designated times in designated areas. So those are just a few common sense things to think about when you get ready to go to the job site. In addition to some common sense items, you've got some logical things to think about. Remember, you represent your agency and your school. You must understand any contact with the public is reflecting upon the agency, so be respectful at all times. Also, use your legal name on all papers. To get credit, your legal name is very important. If your name is Mary Jane, you don't want to put MJ on the paper. You want to write out Mary Jane. Also, it's important to complete your community service. Non-compliant can get you in more trouble if you're there on a non-volunteer basis. It could get you in trouble with the court. So if you've obligated yourself to complete 10 hours of community service, whether voluntarily or through the courts, you need to complete those 10 hours. Also, confidentiality. It's very, very important. If you are receiving personal information while you're on the volunteer site, that information cannot go anywhere other than the volunteer site. So you don't want to leave a site and be talking about what was done there, who you saw, what kind of services people were there for. It's confidential. So just remember, when you leave the work site, whatever happens stays there and you don't talk about it outside the volunteer site. It's just another indication of respect for your surroundings and the work you're doing. When you volunteer, you're going to get positive results from performing your community service. You get to list this on college applications. College search committees look for this kind of stuff all the time, and when they see you are a volunteer, they take that into consideration and give that important weight. It is also good for references on job applications. You're getting valuable work experience. Even though you might not be getting paid for it, you're still getting experience which can go towards another job. You get boosted self-esteem because when you help somebody, you're going to feel good about yourself. Whether you like it or not, you're going to feel good because you did something good for someone else. The nonprofits also benefit from your help. They can't afford to go out and hire someone to help them with these jobs, so it's a real boost for them as well. And our community needs get met. So everyone wins when we get out there and volunteer. So just some things to think about, and remember, you're going to get something good out of it. One very important thing to remember is to keep your documentation. You never know when you're going to need this information, and it's always good to have it handy. You're going to need it when you start filling out job applications, employment applications. You may need it for personal references or job references. You might have to have it if you're doing court-ordered community service, and you just never know what unseen future needs might crop up as a result of this. So keep it in a safe place, scan it, put it on a disk, put it in a lockbox, put it in your safety deposit box. Just be sure you keep your documentation because you do not know when you're going to need it, and it will come in handy someday. We'd really like to thank you for attending the Jumpstart training session. We hope you enjoyed the session, and we hope you received a positive message about helping in your community. Please remember, there's always help if you need it. Call Kathy Graves or Joy Jordan at HandsOn Texarkana. And at jumpstart.org, you'll find participating organizations and project ideas. Get out there and volunteer. You'll be glad you did.